understand. I see you're like posting a lot of your positions. I just want to hear from you, like why you think male privilege doesn't exist.
Well, how does it exist? I guess would be a better question.
Well, I want to hear what you think about it.
I mean,
I'm not here to like prove you wrong or like argue with you or anything like that. Like, I don't like how they call it battles, because I just like, I don't know, I just want to hear what your position is on it and understand how you see it that way.
Right. I mean, men have to sign up for the drafts. Usually, there's like a man of the household. So traditionally, men have to go to work and do all that. Our suicide rates are higher. Our rapes, including prison rapes, are higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, oh, Johnny got a job because he has a penis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. So yeah, that would be, I guess, my position on it.
So like, are there things that people say that bother you about, like, are there things that people say about male privilege that bother you, or?
No, because, I'm not gonna let someone bother me with something, you know what I mean? But like men are supposed to be seen as like very masculine and muscular. And if you're not like that, you're not a man per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, men and women both have their drawbacks. But to say that one has a privilege and the other one doesn't, I would agree with.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Like, I think that it's hard because, like, say, for example, I guess, like, me looking at this, I don't know exactly what my stance on it is, because, like, I do race studies and social justice studies in college. And, of course, we talk about male privilege as something that's systematic and has been a part of our society since gender roles were ever created. But I feel like I know what you mean. Like, people say that, oh, like, he got a job because he was a man. Like, he got a job over me because he's a man and I'm a woman. Things like that, I don't really agree with. But in terms of like I hear what you're saying about suicide rates and with depression, because I feel like from a really young age, men are always told not to talk about their feelings or their emotions or anything, or not all men, but like a lot of them are told.
Quite a few.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're told like, oh, like you can't, don't cry, don't show your weakness. You have to be the strong person. You have to be the man of the house, basically. And that's like really damaging for a lot of people. But yeah, I agree. I think that like they both have their own setbacks, like men and women both. But like, are you the type, like, do you think that men are superior to women or no?
No. In some aspects, yes. But not, straight down the line. Like, a man is going to be able to, is physically superior. He's going to be able to run longer, maybe in a shorter time than women will be. They're going to have less body fat. They're going to be able to lift more weights, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there are definitely like physical differences that like people don't, like a lot of the time people will say that like, oh no, like we are the same, we're both the human race, and like, but there are differences. Like, I know that for me, I'm never going to be as strong as my male counterparts will be. And it might not, it might be individual, it might be because I'm female, but at the same time, I just know that's like a truth for me. So small, and like, but I think the biggest thing for me is that although I'm not like completely agreeing that male privilege doesn't exist, I think in the way that sometimes in settings where there are men and women maybe like discussing a topic thing, and I mean this could be because of like individual traits and like people who have a stronger ability to speak out than others, but like I feel like for me a lot of the time my voice is silenced because a man is talking, or because for women, like for men, when they're younger and they're told like not to cry and things like that, for women I feel like a like common pattern between a lot of us is that we just kind of let the man speak, and like I guess that's a problem for both genders, but like at the same time when I feel like I'm speaking sometimes like even my boyfriend does it to me, he'll just silence me and he'll just talk right over me, and it happens a lot with a lot of different men. I mean, I don't know if that's like an individual thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to attribute it to like, oh, that's men and that's all women, like it's because men silence women. Like it's not that. I just think it's because like from a young age when we're taught like our different gender roles, it creates these like the people that we're supposed to be as a man or a woman.
Right.
And I think it like perpetuates that idea that men are superior, you know? I'm not sure if it made sense.
I guess, but like each person is different, and it could just be that, you know, he's rude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in movies, the men are always seen as, you know, a goof, basically. That doesn't really know anything. They're completely moronic and whatnot. Which I guess is fine, because I mean it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in male privilege.
I also feel like it's oh, sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, it's okay.
Okay. I also feel like it's because like since men are supposed to be seen as the superior like gender, they're supposed to be seen as the superior gender. That's how it kind of plays out and perpetuates. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even because men think they're superior, or some do, some really do, but it's not because of that creates male privilege. I think it's because people see them as like, you know, people try to be what they're supposed to be. You know, men are supposed to be the superior one, so then that's how they kind of, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and they like try to become that. But I think you said something, I'm trying to remember what your other stances were, because I just thought they were really interesting, and like I wanted to hear more about, oh, someone just commented NBA is greater than WNBA. It's funny. What's your stance on like Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter movement?
For the majority of the protests, I guess it's reasonable, but I don't think it should be called Black Lives Matter, because it's not necessarily just Black Lives Matter. It's against police brutality. So, and when you say just Black Lives Matter, that's kind of not the issue. You want to get all police brutality instead of just, you know, Black Lives Matter, because obviously Black Lives Matter, realistically and legally. So I don't know. It's there are other ways to do it.
Yeah, I think that like I feel like I understand why they called it Black Lives Matter, because they feel like Black lives are the majority of the people who experience the brunt of racism. And I feel like although police brutality is like a really, like that is what the focus should be, I think that for people who are Black, they see it as a way to step up and say, like, since this is a clear example of racism being played out through police brutality, we can use it to kind of show people that this is a time where we need to make change for Black people, even though there are other people of other races who have been targeted by police brutality. Like, I think I saw statistics that said that the most people who experience police brutality are actually Native Americans and not Black people. So I feel like I understand that they kind of used police brutality as a way to come up with a movement, since it's like the first example for a lot of people to see racism be played out through a legal aspect.
Right.
But I think a lot of people take it wrong. I think they think that Black people are saying that they're more superior or that they're the only ones who should matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But the way people feel, it kind of doesn't matter. Cops killed nearly twice as many whites as Blacks in 2015, according to the data compiled by the Washington Post. 50% of the victims of fatal police shootings were white, while 26% were Black. Majority of the victims had a gun or were armed or otherwise threatening the officer with potentiality of lethal force.
Mm-hmm.
So, police brutality, I think, is a greater issue. Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But are you saying that, like, the way that people feel about it doesn't really matter, or are you disagreeing with, like, the name of the movement?
No, just because you feel that, oh, this cop killed a Black person, he's racist. Just because he feels that way doesn't mean it's true.
I feel like I disagree with that, because I think that, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, just because, like, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, I feel like you're racist, that doesn't make you racist. But at the same time,
right,
I think it's important to think about the impact that people are having on each other. Like, for example, even if somebody came up to me and they said, Emily, I think you're racist, and I don't think you're racist, I feel like it's still important for me to try to understand why they think that way. Like, even though I know, like, each police officer can't sit there and be like, oh, well, okay, let's sit down and talk about why you think I'm racist or anything like that. But I just think that it's still important that these people standing up and saying this is an issue and it should be talked about in terms of Black people in relation to police brutality. But yeah, I also agree that that is the main issue, the police brutality.
There's more whites and Hispanics died from police homicides than Blacks. 12% of whites and Hispanic homicide deaths were due to police officers, while only 4% of Black homicide deaths were the result of police officers.
But at the same time, how is that recorded?
Probably because I'm sure they have a database. But I mean, so going off that stat, it's not just Black people that are getting shot. You know what I mean?
Wait, what? Say that again.
It's not just Black people, being attacked. So it's not just, racist cops. So let's say the majority of cops are white, and, more Hispanics are dying from, let's say, white cops per se. That doesn't make that white cop racist. Just because that cop shot a Hispanic man.
No, I think I know what you mean, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of like, for example, I think the issue is bigger than police brutality, and I feel like that
like what you think and like what the facts actually are different. Because you're just saying like what you think, but like the actual facts show that more whites and Hispanics are shot by cops than Blacks. There's no
that's
I see
what you're saying. But at the same time, like, the facts, the way that things are recorded are within the system, which is racist. Like, the system is inherently racist because it's built upon a history of racism. So there's no possible way we can just wake up one day and say, oh, we're not racist anymore, and all of our laws and everything have nothing to do with racism or slavery. Like, that's a truth that I feel like people don't want to admit. And when we're talking about things like this, it's not something that's explicit. Like, I think that some people do have evidence saying that that like whites and Hispanic, like what you just looked up. Did you just look that up?
Right. Yeah, it was from the FBI.
It's from the FBI.
So, yeah.
There's also a website. Oh, I don't have a computer with me. There's also a website. I forget what it is, but in 2016, the people who were shot by police, the most of them were Native Americans. Then the next up were Blacks, then Latinos and Hispanics, and then Asian Americans, and then white people.
Okay. Blacks are more likely to kill cops than be killed by cops. This is according to the FBI, which also found that 4% of cop killers were Black. The police officer is 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a Black than a cop killing an unarmed Black person.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider that racist too, or no?
What?
Would you consider that racist?
Wait, say that again?
Would you consider that part of the data racist?
Which part?
How Blacks kill more cops than cops kill Blacks.
Well, let me ask you this question. If you think that a white person is racist, do you think a Black person could be racist to a white person?
Racism's all across the board.
So you think that a Black person can be racist to a white person?
Sure.
But the problem with that is that racism has a certain sense of power to it. Because in society, Black people don't have social power. They don't have the agency to oppress white people.
But they have a television, they have the Black president, they have a Black Lives Matter movement, they have the NAACP.
Right, but those are steps in the right direction to be able to gain agency for Black people in America. But that doesn't make everybody on the same page. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're not all on the same page to be able to be racist to each other. I think that they can definitely discriminate against white people, or they can stereotype white people and generalize them, say, oh, white people are this, white people are that. But there are not enough Black people in positions of power to oppress white people as a whole. Does that make sense?
Right. Racism is the belief that all members of each race possess characteristics or abilities specific to that race, especially so as to distinguish it as inferior or superior to another race or races. It has nothing to do with power. So,
but I think you're reading like a literal definition, but in today's society,
the actual definition.
Yeah, but there are literal definitions, but in today's society, racism means a completely different thing than whatever somebody wrote in a dictionary. Or how it's defined. Does that make sense?
So definitions don't actually matter, right?
No, I think they matter. They do matter.
Just accept the racism.
But definitions change over time, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. Well, I think this would be the end of our discussion.
Yeah, I think we also talked about something completely different than male privilege, but that's okay.
Eland, I would like to debate you if you have any positions at all. That'd be interesting. So,
all right.
But I'll talk to you later.
Good talk. Bye.